Now, there's so much going on in politics at the moment, it's pretty hard to know quite where to start getting to the bottom of it all. Our Prime Minister, he's walking the world stage yet again, while the rest of us are struggling under the weight of high mortgage costs, falling house prices, exorbitant electricity charges, and flat-out cost of living crises. To be sure, the PM has at least resumed dialogue with the President Xi of China, and that gives some important hope to our critical export industries. But for a lot of us, there are plenty of other concerns too, not least the continuing decline in the cultural landscape. Here to discuss some of them is one of the bravest souls in federal politics, Senator Alex Antic. Senator, it's great to have you on the show as always.
Cory, thank you.
Now, let me start with the Prime Minister. I thought he did pretty well at this Bali summit. He opened dialogue with President Xi. What did you make of it?
Oh, look, Cory, I think we have to go back a step here and look at what the previous government, what my government, our government did in the previous generation, which was to literally draw a line under some of the bullying tactics of the Chinese Communist Party, this sort of wolf warrior diplomacy. And we saw Australian businesses really suffer at the hands of some of these trade sanctions. And while it's good to see, I think this sort of showing some sort of area of dialogue coming back, we can't forget that the beast hasn't changed. The CCP have not changed. The sort of tactics that are being used here by Xi and his cohorts will not change. They are looking for world domination effectively, for regional and worldwide domination in an economic and military sense. So I think we've got to tread with caution. There's nothing wrong with dialogue. It's fine. I mean, we want to be able to have that dialogue regardless. But we've seen the behaviour of this regime, and we can't forget this is the regime that held Australian farmers, fishers and others to ransom, and ultimately is still committing some of the most egregious human rights breaches.
And so the question is going to be, what do they want in order to relax the sanctions?
Yeah.
And that's going to be the diplomatic masterstroke. Don Farrell is in charge of that for the government. Don's a good negotiator. I do know him personally, and so I'm optimistic. But tell me, there was something else that went on up there to do with a pandemic passports. What was that all about?
Yeah, so the G20 is talking about a whole range of issues. One of the things they're talking about, which really I think is quite alarming, is this new global digital environment when it comes to pandemic responses. So one of the things that was done as part of this joint statement that was signed by a heap of countries that went was to really pave the way for what looks to be an international global vaccine passport, if you like, or at least pave the way for that sort of stuff. Another brick in this digital technocracy future, and I say it's sort of authoritarianism, technocratic authoritarianism, really.